We all encounter them. The person who is constantly negative. The colleague who takes credit for your work. The family member who always pushes your boundaries. The stranger who is unnecessarily aggressive. Difficult people. They seem to drain your energy, hijack your emotions, and can make even simple interactions feel like a minefield. Dealing with people who are demanding, critical, manipulative, or simply draining is one of the most common and stressful challenges in life. They can leave you feeling angry, frustrated, hurt, anxious, or completely exhausted. And often, our go-to response is arguing, avoiding, or trying too hard to please don't actually solve the problem. They just make things worse. It feels unfair, doesn't it? Why do we have to struggle with their behavior? Is there a way to navigate these interactions without losing your sanity, compromising your values, or letting their difficulty break your inner peace? This isn't just about simple communication skills. It delves into understanding human behavior at a deeper level, the psychological patterns that make people difficult, and the philosophical principles that guide us in responding ethically and protecting our inner world regardless of external provocations. Today, we're going to explore this challenging area by combining insights from both psychology and philosophy. We'll look at what psychology tells us about the types of difficult behaviors and why they are so effective at triggering us, and then turn to philosophical wisdom, particularly focusing on virtue, control, and ethical interaction, for powerful frameworks on how to respond and maintain our integrity and well-being in the face of difficult people. By the end, you'll have a deeper understanding and practical strategies for navigating these tough relationships with more skill and less stress. So, let's begin by understanding the psychology of difficult people and why they impact us so powerfully. Psychology offers various lenses through which to view difficult behaviors. Sometimes what we perceive as difficult might stem from personality traits or even personality disorders, although it's crucial not to armchair diagnose. Understanding concepts like narcissism, a pattern of grandiosity, need for admiration, and lack of empathy, passive aggression, expressing negative feelings indirectly, or high-conflict personalities can help us recognize patterns and realize the behavior isn't just about us. These are often deeply ingrained ways of relating to the world, perhaps stemming from complex psychological factors or past experiences. Furthermore, communication styles play a huge role. Aggressive, manipulative, or overly critical communication triggers our defensive mechanisms. We might shut down, counterattack, or become overwhelmed. Understanding different communication styles and the dynamics of conflict can help us see the interaction more objectively. Psychology also explains emotional contagion, how easily we can catch the emotions of those around us. A difficult person's negativity, anxiety, or anger can quickly transfer to us if we're not mindful, leaving us feeling just as drained and upset. This happens almost automatically. Our own psychological vulnerabilities also come into play. If we have a strong need for approval, which we discussed last time, a fear of conflict, or a history of being mistreated, we might be more susceptible to being manipulated or hurt by difficult people. Understanding our own triggers is key. Psychological research also highlights the importance of boundaries. Difficult people often disregard or actively violate boundaries, personal, emotional, or even physical. Setting and maintaining boundaries is a crucial psychological skill for protecting your energy and well-being, but it can be incredibly challenging to do when faced with someone who resists them. So, psychology helps us categorize behaviors, understand the emotional impact, identify communication patterns, and recognize our own vulnerabilities. It explains what's happening in the interaction and why it affects us. Now, how does philosophy help us determine how we should respond and how to protect our inner state regardless of the other person's behavior? Philosophy provides ethical frameworks and wisdom traditions that focus on how we should live and act, especially in relation to others, and where we should place our value and focus our energy. The Stoics offer perhaps the most robust philosophical defense against being controlled by others' behavior. Central to Stoicism is the idea that other people's actions and character are externals, things outside of our control. Trying to change a difficult person, or letting their behavior dictate your emotional state, is seen as irrational and futile. Your only concern, and your only power, lies in your own mind, your own judgments about the situation, and your own virtuous response. Seneca wrote extensively on managing anger and dealing with difficult relationships, emphasizing that our anger is usually a result of our judgment that a wrong has been done to us, rather than simply observing the action itself. By changing our judgment, this person is acting difficultly, rather than this person is deliberately ruining my day, we can choose not to be disturbed. The focus is entirely inward, maintaining your own reason, justice, courage, and temperance regardless of how others behave. Virtue ethics, particularly influenced by Aristotle, shifts the focus from rules or consequences to character. When dealing with a difficult person, the question isn't just, what should I do? But, what would a virtuous person do? A virtuous person acts with patience, courage, to set boundaries when needed, justice, treating the situation fairly, and practical wisdom, navigating the specifics skillfully. This framework helps you focus on cultivating your own character in the interaction, rather than getting pulled down to the difficult person's level. Your goal is to act virtuously, not necessarily to change them or even achieve a specific outcome from them, as that's an external. Even basic ethical principles like the Golden Rule, treating others as you would like to be treated, can offer a guide, though applying it to a difficult person can be complex. Philosophers exploring social interaction also consider our responsibility to ourselves, not allowing others to mistreat us, which connects to the philosophical idea of self-respect and autonomy. These philosophical traditions equip us with a crucial perspective. While we can't control difficult people, we have profound power over ourselves, our reactions, our judgments, our character, and our boundaries. This is where psychology and philosophy become incredibly powerful together. Psychology helps us identify the specific trigger, the manipulation tactic, the aggressive communication, the boundary violation, and understand our automatic, often unhelpful, psychological reaction: stress, anger, withdrawal. Philosophy provides the principle. Their behavior is an external. Focus on your response, or how can I act virtuously here? Psychology gives us tools to manage our immediate emotional state and set boundaries. Philosophy gives us the higher purpose and the stable ground, anchoring our actions in virtue and our peace in our own inner control, making the psychological tools more effective and less like mere techniques. So, how do we practically use this combined knowledge to navigate interactions with difficult people? First, use psychological awareness to identify the pattern and your triggers. Recognize the type of difficult behavior you're facing, e.g., constant complaining, passive aggression, boundary pushing. More importantly, notice your automatic emotional and behavioral response. This awareness creates a pause before you react. Next, bring in the philosophical perspective on control and externals. Remind yourself, this person's behavior is outside my control. My focus is on my own state and my response. This isn't easy in the moment, but actively bringing this principle to mind can help detach you emotionally from their actions. See their behavior as a reflection of their internal world or habits, not necessarily an attack on your worth. Use psychological techniques for emotional regulation. If their behavior triggers anger or anxiety, use techniques like deep breathing, mindfulness, or taking a brief pause before responding. Regain control of your emotional state so you can choose a response, rather than just reacting impulsively. Apply virtue ethics to guide your response. Ask yourself, how would the person I aspire to be, someone patient, clear, courageous, respectful, even if firmness is required, handle this? Focus on acting from your desired character, rather than mirroring their negativity or aggression. Your goal is to maintain your virtue in the interaction. Implement psychological strategies for boundary setting. This is crucial. Difficult people often need clear, firm boundaries. Based on your philosophical commitment to self-respect and protecting your inner peace, which the Stoics would see as maintaining the health of your ruling faculty. Decide what behavior is unacceptable. Communicate your boundaries calmly and clearly, and be prepared to enforce them, even if it causes discomfort. That discomfort is often the difficult person's reaction to having their pattern interrupted, not a sign you've done something wrong. Remember, setting boundaries is an action within your control. Choose your battles, informed by both prudence, psychology/practical wisdom, and principle, philosophy/ethics. Not every difficult behavior needs a full confrontation. Sometimes, limited exposure or strategic disengagement is the wisest course, especially if the person is unwilling or unable to change. This isn't avoidance in a negative sense, but a strategic choice to protect your energy and peace, aligning with the philosophical goal of preserving your inner well-being. Dealing with difficult people is one of life's constant challenges. It tests our patience, our emotional control, and our values. Our psychological wiring makes us vulnerable to their impact, often leading to stress and unhelpful reactions. But by combining the insights of psychology, understanding the dynamics of difficult behavior, our triggers, and the importance of boundaries with the profound wisdom of philosophy, particularly the Stoic focus on internal control and virtue ethics guiding our conduct, we gain powerful tools. We learn to respond from a place of strength, maintain our inner peace regardless of external provocation, act in accordance with our values, and navigate these interactions with greater skill, resilience, and integrity. It's not about changing them. It's about changing how you engage and protecting your own inner world, and that is entirely within your power. Thank you for joining me in exploring this essential aspect of human interaction. If you found this discussion valuable, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more insights blending psychology and philosophy for a better life. What's your biggest struggle when dealing with difficult people? Share your thoughts and strategies in the comments below.